All right. Happy pre-Thanksgiving, everybody. Okay. I just think I had this upside down. Happy pre-Thanksgiving, everybody. All right. We have a good show planned for you tonight. Before I get into the show, I want to tell y'all something totally unexpected happened after the last live stream. I went to record what she said Sports Unplugged when I'm out and about and I'm just quick with it. Um, and I walked into a space, um, just totally unexpected. Wasn't planning to go to this space. It was cold outside, so I just walked and decided to do the video indoors. And I record and say what I have to say. And I was talking about the reporter asking Shedeur uh, about Kevin Stefanski sabotaging him, and the way he said it, the way he phrased the question. Your supporters say that Kevin Stefanski has been sabotaging you, and I want to be very clear about this. What that reporter did was essentially see a abused person with their abuser, okay, and could visibly see evidence of abuse. But instead of walking up to the abuser and asking the adult or the abuser, the person that did the damage, any questions, they asking the person in front of their abuser, did he hurt you? What the hell you think he gonna say? If he's a child, what you think he gonna say because the imbalance of power? Shedeur is an employee. Kevin Stefanski is his boss. What the hell did you think he would say? And let me tell you what was gross about that question. First of all, it is evident if you pay attention that this situation with Shedeur being sabotaged has moved beyond football. There are attorneys talking about what's happening with Shedeur is because he's Black excellence. And there are people in the legal world, in the academic world, talking about what's happening to Shedeur is what happened to Black people in white spaces. And none of them are Browns fans. None of them are Shedeur Sanders fans. Most of them probably not even NFL fans. The situation with Shedeur is so widespread that you have people on the continent of Africa putting up the Shedeur, rooting for him. Today, I was reading about people. My team isn't playing. I'm rooting for Shedeur. I'm watching my team play. I'm still rooting for Shedeur. NFL fans, academians, lawyers are watching what's taking place with Shedeur. People already commented how he has the patience of Job and the way he's handling this for such his young age. He's already said how difficult these previous months have been. And you ask him on camera with his employer in tow, did they hurt you? What the hell did you think he would say? One person said if they asked this question in Baltimore, the press pass would be revoked. They wanted to put Shedeur in an impossible situation so he could absolve Kevin Stefanski of all wrongdoing. That's not for Shedeur to do. Did you hear me say lawyers, big time lawyers, are talking about what's happening to Shedeur, being sabotaged, his moment, all his hard work being stolen. It's gross to cover up for Stefanski, to deflect away from the sabotage that you're asking about when you know it occurred, because Kevin Stefanski has made sure you know that Shedeur does not belong. He made sure you know that he's not worthy because we have standards for this position. Kevin Stefanski does not believe Shedeur is worthy of being a leading starting quarterback, leader of the team for the Cleveland Browns. And one way you know this is because of how disgusting he was towards Shedeur in the locker room. Acknowledge everybody but the leader of the team. That undermined his leadership. And the gentleman that asked the question, the reporter that asked the question, to Shedeur, you know what he was actually doing? Trying to indirectly blame Shedeur for the public holding Kevin Stefanski accountable for sabotaging Shedeur Sanders' career and bullying him. That's gross, because you know it happened. Everybody knows it happened. That's why everybody's talking about it. And to say it's just your supporters instead of admitting that the world that is watching, academia, lawyers, NFL fans on other teams, are watching how this young man has been set up. 7.3 million people were lured to watch him be humiliated in the draft. So why would you think it's less than that? Those same people are still watching. And they're watching Shedeur after watching him be humiliated in the draft. They're watching him be humiliated and bullied and abused emotionally. Like his name is Kutakite and Stefanski wants it to be Toby. People in that orbit, the Browns orbit, want to protect Stefanski, who set his own reputation on fire by being open and publicly discriminatory towards Shedeur Sanders. And now, when the world has caught on and called him out, it's Shedeur Sanders fans. Understand this. Browns fans are also Shedeur Sanders fans. You got to deal with your own damn fans who boycotted you last week and will do it again behind Shedeur. So don't try to indirectly blame Shedeur by trying to narrow it down to his fan base when the world is watching. More people are watching now than they did in the draft. It's not a secret that Kevin Stefanski is sabotaging Shedeur because he made sure we know. He didn't have to do it that way, but he chose to because he's arrogant. And you chose to protect ignorance rather than protect Shedeur. Y'all gonna pay for that. Y'all gonna pay for that because this is negligence. And a few days ago, I said anything that happens at this point going forward is negligence because Kevin Stefanski should have been fired. He lied about who the hell Dylan Gabriel was. He defrauded the whole damn organization and the fan base. And all he wants to do is put Dylan back out there. And why is that? Because he lied about Shedeur Sanders not being able to learn, read defenses. He's slow to catch on. Sanders said it has been hard the last few months. It has been difficult, extremely difficult. He ain't talking about reading defense. It damn sure ain't his accuracy in his arm. He came through the door with something y'all lied about this kid. Everybody lied on this kid. And everybody that lied on this kid is standing around watching Stefanski sabotage this kid's career. And Cleveland fans know it because they speaking out about it. So I'm going to tell you, I ran into somebody in my own space here in Atlanta. I was overheard. They were listening to me record, and they say, "Were you talking about the Cleveland Browns?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "I'm from Cleveland." I'm like, "Get out of here. You a Browns fan?" They talking about, "Yeah, long-time Browns fan." I have to still edit the video and make sure. I just looked at it like that. So probably on the next show. But y'all not going to never guess why they in town. So we had a conversation. They were telling me what Browns fans really think. We talked about, are Browns fans Shedeur Sanders fans, Shedeur Sanders fans, or Browns fans? The first thing he said is, when he was talking on camera, "We rolling with you, Shedeur. We know Kevin Stefanski gave up on you too soon or never believed." Something like that. Browns fans rolling with Shedeur, which is why they boycotted. And when Shedeur gave them hope, they still didn't want to put him back out there. They want to go back to Dylan or Bailey Zappi. So imagine that these people know this kid can get it done, but they don't want him to come out of here and do it. So they lie on him and make up shit. Because that's all they've been doing, lying and making up shit. And then when he gives the team a glimmer of hope, even though Kevin Stefanski sabotaged Shedeur in every goddamn game he's played, including the Raiders game. What does this say? That this kid can get it done, but the head coach keeps sabotaging him. That's the question. We ain't even talking about sabotage that's happening over there in Berea. We talking about the shit we see on TV. Because we football fans first. It don't matter if it's college. It don't matter if it's in the NFL. And when you've been following Shedeur as long as some people have, you know when he's uncomfortable. And we peeped that long time ago. We watched the media harass Shedeur. But ultimately, Kevin Stefanski wanted us to know he was sabotaging Shedeur. And the Cleveland Browns are negligent because they are allowing it to continue. Because maybe the work is not done. If it was up to Kevin Stefanski, Shedeur wouldn't be on the field at all. So they know that he set everything up because they had to force his hand so Shedeur could get back out there. Maybe because one of Shedeur's supporters, Trump, came through again. So when you say his supporters, are you including Trump in that too? Or do you want to ignore that part? Because that's what you don't want, right? Trump told you that kid was going to be good. And y'all let Stefanski lie on this kid and hold him back and waste his time and not develop him. We saw him out here out this school over here, Edwin Baldwin College or whatever it is out there, self-developing. And then when the public got loud about him not getting practice ones with the reps, they made him stay late to work out with the scout team so he could get some reps. They doing everything in Cleveland to hold this kid back, even though he is what they have been looking for. But they don't want it to be him. And I don't have time to get into what they motive are. It don't matter. They wrong. But what they better understand is, oh, this is way beyond football. This is what happens to Black people in white spaces, and everybody is talking about it. I think a lot of people are waiting for somebody over there to show up and do something about it, starting with the owner of the Browns, because it's his team. And the fire gonna fall at his feet. It's gross to know Stefanski has set this kid up in every game, and he keeps having to overcome Stefanski. So during the Raiders game, what did he have to overcome? Stefanski's game plan. Because Shedeur Sanders threw a 52-yard pass to Isaiah Bond in the first half and got down to the 1-yard line. And what did Stefanski do? Call a timeout, took Shedeur out the game, and did a direct snap with Quinshon Judkins. Why Shedeur couldn't just hand the ball to Quinshon Judkins? Because he wanted to exclude him from being an impactful player. And that's exactly what happened. Shedeur didn't really do nothing. He don't get no credit for that. He don't get no credit for Dylan Sampson. Sabotage. Just like pre-draft. Character assassination. Lying about this kid and his contributions to the sport of football. And we had to come all this way for fans to see. They lied about Shedeur, but people been saying it. People have been saying it. So instead of asking Shedeur about Stefanski, when you going to ask Stefanski about Shedeur? Instead of asking Shedeur about Dylan, let me see you ask Dylan about Shedeur. See, you keep wanting to put Shedeur under the gun to say something that could get him roped up, which is y'all harassing him. And y'all going to pay for this. And I know some of y'all don't believe me, but you're going to pay for this. Because people think it's disgusting, especially on the heels of the draft, of which the NFL is already being sued for. So is Cleveland trying to catch a case independently? Is that what's happening? Is that what it's going to take? Took this kid out the game twice when he didn't have to. How many quarterbacks just get taken out the damn game like that? Rare, especially starters that are good, that can throw a 52-yard pass. So what was Stefanski trying to stop? Did he not want him to be the first rookie in NFL history, 120 years, to have 2 50-plus passes ever in his first debut as a starter? Is that what he was trying to avoid? Or was he trying to make sure that Shedeur didn't have 18 points? What you should be asking Stefanski is, did he recruit Jerry Jeudy to shave 6 points off the game? That's what you should be asking. Because you crazy as hell if you think it's a coincidence that normal people who watch that game realize that in the first half of the game alone, there were 18 points, which could have been attributed to Shedeur Sanders. But 2 of them, Stefanski took Shedeur out the game, so he didn't get credit. And the last one was Jerry Jeudy. And I heard him try to explain himself today. And people want to talk about the fumble, but you know what they're not talking about? How Jerry Jeudy slowed down so they can catch up to him. Jerry Jeudy said he wanted to cut across. Why would you slow down if you're going to cut across? What the hell are you cutting across for? You was right there. Jerry Jeudy slowed down and erased 6 points off the board that could have been attributed to Shedeur Sanders. But before that, Kevin Stefanski, Shedeur get them down to the goal line, and Kevin want to stick it to him good. We at the 1 goal line, but I'm going to take you out the game. For what? He could have snapped the ball and handed it to Quishon. How many times have they done a damn direct snap? And he did it twice. Quishon could have ran one in and it'd be all him. Shedeur could have did anything. But the point is, Kevin Stefanski didn't give him the opportunity, because what Kevin Stefanski has been doing since the beginning of his time with Shedeur is pretending to like Shedeur, all the while treating him like he's not worthy to be a quarterback. And I'd be damn it to hell if I'm going to let you have a real opportunity. Hand might be forced to put you in this game, but I don't have to let you shine. So I'm going to take you out. And in the first half alone, 18 points were erased that could have been attributed to Shedeur. And you put that with the last one, which meant Shedeur caught on fast. And they want to know what he thinking. He ain't going to tell you what he thinking. And nor should he, because you ought to know better than to ask somebody who's been sabotaged in front of their boss, with their boss right there, what the hell is going on. Go ask his damn boss. Why don't none of y'all have the courage to ask Kevin Stefanski, why are you so disrespectful towards Shedeur? How many of you asked Kevin Stefanski, why would you take Shedeur out of the game? How many of you asked Kevin Stefanski, why did you limit the reps that Shedeur could get? He needs to get better, because Kevin Stefanski does not want to get Shedeur better. Why do you think he has literally attached himself to Dylan Gabriel? Why do you think he drafted an undrafted free agent in Dylan Gabriel when he knew Dylan Gabriel couldn't win? And when Flacco left, he was just happy to lose. And then what they had to tell him to get him to snap out of it, hey, the goal is to win. He still have a job. If you have to tell him that at this stage of his career, then you should have fired him already after Callahan and before Daboll. But now they want to protect Stefanski. You're going to pay for this, because this is way beyond football. This is what happened to Black people in white spaces. It's called discrimination. And you're allowing it to happen because you know about it, and you actually are perpetuating it instead of firing Kevin Stefanski. He serves no purpose. He's a sub 500 coach. He has had 13 goddamn quarterbacks. And if you think because he's had numerous quarterbacks that he didn't treat them differently, you're wrong. Because now you have Browns fans speaking out about the disgusting way Kevin Stefanski, after Haslam paid Deshaun $230 million, that Kevin Stefanski want to break him down to a game manager. This is exactly what happened to Vince Young in Tennessee with the Titans. And eventually, after they broke that kid, Jeff Fisher got fired. And when they knew Jeff Fisher was a liability, they discarded Vince Young. Trade and cut, trade and cut. It's disgusting because a lot of people know about it and they want to blame Shedeur. And they want to keep Stefanski around so he can continue to sabotage Shedeur's careers, because it seems like the people that took him off the board don't want Shedeur to leave the Browns as a QB1, because they sure as hell locked him out of the first round. And that sin is going to follow them forever. And with 10 million people watching, you crazy if you think they just Shedeur Sanders fans. People watching just to see how far you going to go. And who going to do something about it? And how long have you been doing this? Because we know he's not the first one. There are people saying, I haven't seen anybody so mistreated since Lamar Jackson. So I don't know why the hell you think it's just Shedeur Sanders fans. It must be Lamar Jackson fans too. Caleb Williams fans too. Jalen Hurts fans too. Jada Daniels fans too. CJ Stroud fans too. Y'all made this kid's life hell. And now you want to harass him because people want to hold Kevin Stefanski accountable. Well, y'all should have put Kevin Stefanski on a goddamn leash and told him under no uncertain terms or you to disrespect and discriminate against Shedeur Sanders because he's black. That's what you should have did. But now everybody know, and you want to blame Shedeur. Now, it ain't going down like that. It's not going down like that. And you ought to know that. This kid just want to play football. Through all his interviews, all you keep hearing him say, I'm just grateful to be here. Right. He's just grateful to be here. There's an imbalance of power. Shedeur Sanders is on a team in a league where their contracts practically demand loyalty. Kevin Stefanski's answer after they asked him about Jerry Jeudy was essentially excusing Jerry Jeudy. Oh, the fumble was some kind of missed technique. The fumble wasn't the problem. The fact that he slowed down so they could catch him was the problem. And the fact that Jerry Jeudy took 6 points off the board and Stefanski took 12 away from Shedeur, and all in the first half, after they saw him lob it down the field, which I know they've seen in practice. Somebody should be asking if they work together to make sure Shedeur wasn't seen as a major contributor in the game so his QBR rating could be poor, so that he could get traded as QB2 no matter how good he is. And what's so sad is that the city is just ready for somebody like Shedeur. But now they want to meddle and they want to lie and they want to cheat this kid because he's black. They would never do this to a white quarterback. They give white quarterback passes. J.J. McCarthy, Trevor Lawrence. How many times we got to say Josh Allen? But they want to make Shedeur's life extra hard because he's good. So this is way beyond football. So y'all wasting y'all time trying to indirectly blame him and his fan base. Understand this. Browns fans are also Shedeur Sanders fans. Browns fans see the sabotage. Browns fans know that what Stefanski did to Jameis Winston, know what Stefanski did to Deshaun Watson. So this ain't just about Shedeur. This is about Stefanski and why Haslam has allowed Stefanski to bring such negative attention with all of his discriminatory behavior toward black quarterbacks. And for people that don't understand incompetence, understand this. Racism and incompetence are two totally different things. Why would you want to break down a quarterback that you paid $230 million for his skill set? Because that's not what you paid him $230 million for. So it was okay for you to allow Stefanski to break him. And you could trade him and he could go play ball. But no, you rather use him for a photo op rather than have him go get the glory. The same glory you don't want Shedeur with. So you take him out the game on first and goal after he do the work to be accurate as hell. All they telling Shedeur, all Stefanski been telling Shedeur every goddamn day since he's been there, since we have seen him on camera is, we don't want you. We don't value you. We know you're going to come in. We know you're going to work hard. It said it on camera. It's documented. Post-draft, day 3. We know the kid is a hard worker. He's a good kid. He going to come in. He going to put in the work. And they still robbed him multiple times. So for the people that don't understand why the public is saying that Kevin Stefanski has sabotaged Shedeur, because he has. Shedeur Sanders won that competition over Dylan and did not get the recognition, just like he didn't get the recognition in the locker room. See, the problem is Stefanski decided to be bold with it on camera, and it's recorded, and it's on thousands, if not millions of people's devices, and there's nothing you could do about it. So blaming Shedeur isn't the problem. Blame Stefanski. What y'all holding on to him for? He's not even a good coach. Is it his off-the-field activities? Stop harassing this kid. And if y'all protecting Stefanski like you are giving him a green light to sabotage Shedeur in this next game. What are you going to do this time? Is the right side of the O-line going to face the stands again when Shedeur see the blitz? No, Shedeur going to get the hell on. And then what you going to do? You gonna put Jerry Jeudy out there and he going to stop running again? Because after those points were shaved, taken from Shedeur so he don't have 3 touchdowns in the first half alone, because it means that the people who said he was a good lied. What did Stefanski and Jerry Jeudy do? Go cozy up to Shedeur. Jerry Jeudy put his arm around Shedeur like they boys. Like, excuse you? Can't nobody trust you. And what Stefanski do? I always want to photo op in Shedeur face all on the field, touching on him and everything. But guess what? Want him to come in the locker room real quick so he could humiliate him again and undermine him in front of his own goddamn team. Stefanski should have been fired. And when Haslam is forced to sell his team, he will remember this moment. Yeah, he think it ain't going to happen. But look at where they are now. They didn't think Shedeur was going to get drafted. And hell, he QB1 and about to be against the 49ers. So since they gave Kevin Stefanski the attaboy and went and harassed Shedeur, the one being bullied, the one being abused, the one being sabotaged, and they don't ask Stefanski nothing, they letting him off the hook so he can go set this kid up, or worse, get him physically hurt. Or maybe like Tyrod Taylor, his lung punctured so he could lose his QB1 spot. How desperate are y'all willing to be to hold back this kid? Because look at what happened to Tyrod Taylor. And that doctor never got fired. How the hell could they trust that he would never do that to another football player? Only the one. And he's beautifully melanated as well. It's almost as if their beautiful melanin makes them want to attack Shedeur, want to attack Lamar, want to attack Tyrod Taylor. I have to destroy you. We love their melanin. If you don't like it, go find your ass another job. But to want to work in the league where 80% of them are black, it's something wrong with you. That's psychotic behavior. So what they going to do next, since they not holding Kevin Stefanski accountable for sabotaging Shedeur? Y'all need to be on the lookout for it because it's clearly coming. I mean, why would he stop now? They harassing Shedeur. They're not asking Stefanski nothing. They're not holding him accountable. They didn't suspend him. Hell, they didn't even suspend Jerry Jeudy, and he slowed down on the field. They just accept whatever he said and whatever Stefanski said about what Jerry did instead of asking, were y'all working together? Yeah, people should be asking that. Because those were 3 very unusual circumstances that took 18 points away from Shedeur Sanders' contributions, and Stefanski took his butt right in that locker room and made Shedeur feel like he didn't do shit and he was irrelevant to the process and he don't matter because we don't want you and we don't value you. Here you go, Myles Garrett. Good job, Shedeur. People are making skits about this, and you really think it's just Shedeur Sanders fans. No, that's what you hope. It's called wishful thinking. And harassing Shedeur ain't going to help you. Shedeur should be free at work in a non-toxic environment. And Kevin Stefanski has created a culture of toxicity. You can see the retaliation. What the hell happened to Tony Brown? The intimidation. You trying to coerce Shedeur into absolving Kevin Stefanski on camera to the public so you can run off with a soundbite. See, Stefanski didn't do nothing to get him. That's bullshit. It's documented. Stefanski been discriminatory against Shedeur since he got there. Everything he did on that field was to make sure that Shedeur would not be seen as a contribution. We don't want you. We don't need you. But 10 minutes before they got to the locker room, he all hit his face for a photo op so people could say, he don't hate Shedeur. No, he don't hate Shedeur. He seemingly has a problem with black quarterbacks because he doesn't think they are worthy of being a quarterback. He's still running that same tired stereotype. Lying, saying his kid was taking a long time to get it. That's bullshit. This kid, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And if he would have started the season, they would be in playoff contention. So they can't let him go out here and ball out, because then you gonna ask, well, why didn't he get first team reps? Why wasn't he developed? Why did he have to self-develop? Why does it take the public to hold Stefanski accountable? So he could do it again versus the 49ers? We'll be watching. Understand, this is way beyond football. We'll be watching. Because them 18 points that they shaved this week, you're going to have to find another trick next week. The old lineman pointing to the stands, you're going to have to find you another trick next week. I don't know what you're going to do next week other than get him hurt or get him sick. You're being watched. And because you're being watched, you want to indirectly blame Shedeur and act like it's only Shedeur Sanders fan base and exclude Browns fans from that when your own damn fans boycotted you. How delusional are you? How delusional are you? When your own damn fans in Cleveland didn't want to show up. So you could try to blame Shedeur and say he a distraction. Oh, hell no. It ain't going down like that. That kid is a winner. And because he's black, you don't want him to be a winner for you. Well, you know what? When the trade deadline was approaching, guess what you should have did? You should have traded him to a team that needed a QB1. So you really holding him hostage because you won't let him go out here and play ball uninterrupted. And then you wouldn't trade him. So what's the point? To make his life miserable because you had to draft him because your plan was to humiliate him so he could go as an undrafted free agent. But all you did was elevate Dylan Gabriel, who was an undrafted free agent because he went to the Manning Passing Academy. Yeah, we see the connection. The Giants, the Saints, the Browns. And what's the kid you want to get over at UT? The Manning kid. So you don't want Shedeur because you want the Manning kid. Cool. Trade him as a QB1. But can you do that? Who is covering for Kevin Stefanski? It's beyond time for him to have been fired. And because he is on the hot seat with the public, and they don't want the public boycotting Bud Light or Huntington Bank or any other sponsor, they want to harass Shedeur and blame him and disrupt what he have going on. The NFL don't want quarterbacks like Shedeur. Why the hell did you draft him? So you can keep him from going somewhere and be successful. That's cheeky as hell. You don't want him. So you going if I can't have you, can't nobody else have you. That's abusive. And that's the pattern that has existed since this kid was coming out of Colorado. You already cheated him out of being on the Heisman stage with Dylan. You think it's a coincidence that he behind Dylan right now in Cleveland? No. It's to humiliate him. Just like Dylan getting first team reps and he didn't earn a damn thing. And when Dylan proved he wasn't the guy, he still got the nod. But what did you hear Barry and Stefanski say? Nothing will be given, nothing will be earned to Shedeur. But Dylan can get everything. Jim Crow. We don't want you. We don't value you. We're going to go get another quarterback. Did you not see Haslam with Barry on the sideline at UT versus Ohio State? That was a slap in the face to Shedeur because Barry and Haslam were recruiting Shedeur to be their number 2 overall franchise QB. Humiliation. The prank phone call. Humiliation and lies. It's just a bunch of lies and humiliation. That's it. And now harassment, sabotage, discrimination, negligence, bribery, racketeering, fraud, bait and switch. What else? This is why people think the Browns had Shedeur's home robbed. This is exactly why they think that. Because look at how they mistreat this kid and refuse to hold Stefanski accountable and leave Stefanski in place to do it again. Remember what I told you about the orca and the sea lion? How the orca doesn't terminate its prey's life. It keeps it alive and it abuses it over and over and over and over and over like it's fun. Then it devours it. Shedeur is a sea lion. Stefanski and the Browns are all orcas. It's disgusting. And for the people that's covering for them, y'all gonna catch it. So if I was you, I'd leave the kid alone. But y'all don't seem to be wrapped too tight. Y'all don't seem to be wrapped too tight. I'm like, I don't know what it's gonna take for you to realize, oops, we better stop. The whole president of the United States then came out and told you, see, I told you he was the guy. He basically telling you he needs to be the starter. And even though he's the starter, it's almost like y'all just let Stefanski run around and do what? We might have to start you, but we don't have to let you win. Or even if we have to win, because winning is the goal, I'm going to find a way to make sure you don't get the credit, because that's what happened in the Raiders game. Shedeur wasn't supposed to score that last touchdown. He was supposed to leave the game with no touchdown. 18 points shaved, and they want us to believe it's the coincidence all in the first half. And everybody saw how after the half, the game got boring, penalties kept happening to slow the game down. See, we've seen this in Colorado before. Not a coincidence, Pat Schumer was Kevin Stefanski's boss. So we know exactly what we're looking at. That's what happened when you keep using the same playbook over and over and over. People can detect the sabotage. 18 points taken from Shedeur. Jerry Jeudy slowed down. That's what they paying him $54 million for? Nobody want to investigate. Nobody want to talk about it. Nobody want to suspend him. Did Stefanski even take Jerry Jeudy out the game? Well, that's interesting that he would trust him again, right? Like that. Just like the Chargers trusted the doctor that poked Tyrod Taylor in the lung. You know how long of a needle you need to get to your lung? They weren't worried about him doing it to nobody else. So Stefanski wasn't worried about Jerry Jeudy possibly doing this again, huh? He sure had an excuse. He didn't say nothing about him slowing down, but that's the first thing you notice. He just talked about Jerry Jeudy doing what? Fumbling the ball. That wasn't the first action. Slowing down so they could catch him was. And his actions shaved 6 points and a passing touchdown for Shedeur, just like Stefanski, taking Shedeur out with the direct snaps. So Shedeur don't get credit. The question is not to Shedeur. It should be asking this Stefanski recruit, Jerry Jeudy, to slow down so the ball can get taken for him, so Shedeur does not get a passing touchdown that he ended up getting anyway. But they didn't know that was coming. They said, matter of fact, that was tough. They don't even know how that happened. Shedeur was supposed to lead the game with 0 touchdowns, just like Shedeur was supposed to be an undrafted free agent, so they could make his life hell. Why was he supposed to have 0 touchdowns? So he's not considered a QB1 and he's drafted as anything but. Seems like they never stopped colluding from the draft. It seemed like it conveniently took place in Cleveland. And now they want to indirectly blame Shedeur and harass him in an interview they know he's mandatorily has to take part in when their contracts damn near demand loyalty. Imbalance of power. So what are they going to do next? Because they sure seem willing to leave Stefanski in place to finish the job. Let me see what y'all saying. None of this is a coincidence. None of it at all. You're not going to come. And the fact that nobody even want to look into why Stefanski didn't even take or wasn't concerned about Jerry Jeudy fumbling the ball again. He should have been concerned about him slowing down. He wasn't. He was comfortable with it. Comfortable with making an excuse for it. Oh, it's his technique. You see? You got to be a fool to think people can't see through what happened in the first half alone. The way they've been mistreating Shedeur and not wanting him to get to the front, playing keep away with QB1. And since he made it to QB1, despite Stefanski, well, I guess I'm going to just recruit somebody to make sure they don't get to the end zone. You crazy if you think people think this is a coincidence that Shedeur was robbed of credit for 18 points. Why nobody else fumbled the ball? Just passing touchdowns, huh? It is beyond time for an investigation. Beyond. Hey y'all, how you doing? Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Yo, Miss ATL, how you doing? How you doing? The baddest show on the planet. Thank you. Don't forget to like the stream. Facts. Yup, it said on some sick stuff, right? The new media is on Cleveland's. Yeah, the new media is standing on Cleveland and they're using the same old playbook. The best commentary on racism in the NFL. Thank you. The truth come out. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Yeah, Stefanski helped to shave 18 points off the board. And here's the thing. The fact that you have all of these people analyzing the game and pointing out what Jerry Jeudy did and how he fumbled the ball, it's only this many pointing out that he slowed down. And how many people wondered if Jerry Jeudy was taken out the game and if he would be suspended for this game because he can't be trusted. Why is it so easy for them to trust him again? Why was he interviewing today like he just gonna get back on out there and there's no consequences and repercussions for his poor play, which isn't new? Bribery? Or did they just put their heads together physically and come up with a plan? There are no coincidences here. They've been trying to keep Shedeur from QB1. Clearly, Stefanski wasn't happy about it. Then all of a sudden, we can let you play, but we don't have to let you get credit. And then Rex Ryan, the first thing he does, Shedeur didn't do nothing because they talked about it. They talked about it. There's evidence. Go look for it. That's the problem. People don't want to look for it because they know it's there. Nobody want to ask the smart questions. Why the hell is Jerry Jeudy not suspended? Why the hell is nobody investigating this? This Stefanski recruit Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman. Why did Jerry Jeudy slow down? Damn the fumble. There was no reason for you to slow down. Even if you cut to the left, what you slowing down for? What you cutting to the left for? It's bullshit. So now Shedeur got a receiver he don't even think he could trust. But this Stefanski tape, Jerry Jeudy out the game. And what did Jerry Jeudy do? Go over to Shedeur and hug on him. Yeah, okay. And what does Stefanski do? Go in all in Shedeur face, but in the locker room, set him up to be humiliated again. Shedeur is a sea lion. Stefanski is an orca. Over and over. What did Cam Newton say? It's going to be like this every single time he steps on the field. And you know why he's right? Because they making excuses and cover it for Kevin Stefanski so he can stay out there and do it when they know he should have been fired already. So they willing to go on the hook for negligence and a whole lot of other things, but possibly bribery. Just open up the whole damn organization and let's look and see what's going on here. See how sick it really is. Just so Stefanski can finish the job. And then what they go? Terminate him at the end of the season? How convenient. After the damage is done, I wouldn't fire him either because I don't know how many fools you're going to get out here to embarrass their family, their kids, their wife, their mama, their daddy, and be on the hook for being racist to one of the most popular goddamn athletes on the planet right now. You got to be stupid to put yourself in that situation. And Jerry Jeudy too. We see straight through y'all. And now y'all want to harass Shedeur. Y'all better leave Shedeur alone. Bubba Dub told you, NFL keep playing and disrespecting Shedeur, we're going to burn this bitch down. Cheating this kid left and right because you know he good. And now they leaving Stefanski in place. All right. Well, you going to get what he get then. It said they need real press. Yeah, they don't have no real press. They just have mouthpieces. The world is watching. Yep, the world is watching. That's facts. It said the reporter should have asked Kevin Stefanski. Right. They don't ask Dylan about Shedeur, and they don't ask Kevin about Shedeur. But they want to keep asking Shedeur questions. That's the media harassing Shedeur. And again, this is Haslam team, and he's allowing it. I said it days ago. It's negligence from here on out. You've been warned. The nerve of them to ask him to cover. Right. They want Shedeur to cover for the person that's been bullying him, humiliating him, targeting him, sabotaging him from the time he got to Cleveland through the Raiders game. Because the sabotage is there in the Raiders game. And because they want to leave Stefanski in place, Shedeur better look on out. And don't think you can trust nobody. Because they kept letting them linemen fall on your body and on your legs. And nobody did anything about it. Only one out of the 3 or 4 times between the 2 games that roughing the passer was called. And everybody been talking about that too. It's disgusting. It said, did y'all see when he asked that question, how the older white guy and young black looked when he asked that question? No, I didn't see that part. I didn't see that part. But somebody already posted on X. If you ask that question in Baltimore, they're gonna take your press pass. See the kind of ignorance they allow in Cleveland? Do you see? It's almost like a bunch of bullies left unattended. That's just what it is. Or maybe it's a pod of orcas and Shedeur's the sea lion and they all taking a turn harassing him and abusing him. And Haslam just letting it happen. And NFL quiet too. But they got something to say about Charlotte. You see what matters? Shedeur just really want to play ball. And like anybody in a situation where there's an imbalance of power, where you are an employer or you a housewife or a house husband, and the other person make all the money, and then suddenly they want you to scrape out the deodorant, and you feel trapped because I don't have no money, I can't go nowhere, I got to do what you say. Or an abuser, you know somebody abused, you're going to come to them and ask in front of the person, did he hit you? Did she hit you? Well, goddamn, what you think they're going to say? They under duress. The kid want to play ball, because he want to play ball, you want to make his life hard as hell because the president of the United States came out and told you to draft him, and that's what you had to do. Well, go on and argue about it with the president. Let me see you do that. Let me see you do that. Because you didn't expect that, did you? Let me see you go argue with the president. But no, you want to take it out on Shedeur. And because the president don't have time to watch your ass 24/7, you want to kick Shedeur when he ain't looking. I mean, I don't know what else it's going to take. It just shows you how stuck on stupid they are and how intentional they are about finishing the job. And honestly, you know what I said today? I feel sorry for Shedeur at this point. You know why? Because he can't speak freely. He can't trust nobody around there. I read stories sometimes about how flight attendants rescue people who be in traffic by ask if you need to go to the bathroom. That's the sign that you need to go to the bathroom because they left a note in there for you. That's how it is for Shedeur. He's so close. He's already proven he's good, and they still trying to prove he's not. So they working as a consortium. The local Browns media, the national media that's associated with ESPN, 10% of it is owned by the NFL, the same people that took Shedeur off the goddamn draft board in the first place, and there is no excuse for that, and they don't want to be held accountable for it, or are the ones that are making sure that Stefanski is not being held accountable, because those who do not want to be held accountable do not hold other people accountable. People who do not want to be held accountable do not hold others accountable. And they had to know. People were going to talk about this, and they didn't care. They didn't care till the volume got loud. And now they want to harass Shedeur about it. They don't ask Stefanski about it. They don't hold Stefanski accountable. All they do is tell him, I'm going to need you to just pretend a little bit. So they're going to bring in a Black mental health professional to work with the rookies, talking about their mental health. At the same time, they letting Stefanski set this kid up in the Raiders game. That's crazy. He ain't safe. And I've been telling y'all, he ain't safe. And instead of somebody saying, you know what, we're going to all get roped up behind this. We can't park our heel on the Stefanski hill and die behind it. Nobody has common sense. And let me tell you what I'm seeing. The Raiders coach, Pete Carroll, had great things to say about Shedeur. The 49ers, Shanahan, said he didn't know much, but he knew. He knew his staff, his coaches said Shedeur was a really good player. So see how nobody can directly hold Kevin Stefanski accountable, but they can say without saying. So indirectly, they lied about Shedeur because we knew he was a good player. Canales and the Carolinas can speak positively about Shedeur. You know what Stefanski said? There's a lot of room for improvement. We didn't hear him say Shedeur did any goddamn thing good. Every now and then you hear something here, there, but anything since the moment he said his name weeks ago has been to keep the heat off his feet. We even asked, is there another lawsuit that popped up? Because everybody's out here doing a photo op. And nobody wants to hold Stefanski accountable. Not anybody. That's what collusion looks like. That's exactly what it looks like. So they still colluding against him. But here's the thing. Are they going to try to get him hurt? Are they going to try to set him up so he could lose this game? See, first, O-lineman. Then Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman. Then Stefanski with the game plan versus the Raiders. They lied and said it was tailored to Shedeur's skill set. No, it wasn't. Because Shedeur don't ever need a wildcat. Nobody that launches a 52-yard bomb needs a wildcat. And when they got to the 1-yard line, he stuck it to him. Good. Took him out the game. Did it twice. 18 points that could have went towards Shedeur. They didn't want that. They don't want him to shine. And if I didn't want him to shine and be a contributor and impactful in the Raiders game, what the hell make you think they want him to be that in any game that he's getting ready to play? Or is he going to be in the game long enough to get injured so he's unavailable? Because everybody knows Shedeur going to ball out unless Stefanski is still allowed by Haslam to sabotage Shedeur. Everybody know that now. And they don't even care that their fans are happy that they have hope. They wanted to deny their fans even hope by trying to go back to Dylan. For what? We don't need to see nothing else from Dylan. We know you lied about who Dylan really was, just so you could put him in front of Shedeur and torture Shedeur like he a sea lion and Stefanski is an orca. Disgusting. Over and over, repeatedly, consistently. And he's determined. So what's going to make him stop? When will Stefanski be fired? Who going to hold Stefanski accountable before we get to this 49ers game? Because we already see what he's capable of setting Shedeur up in every single game he's played. Why would he be allowed to do that? Who's covering for Stefanski? Who's going to take the charge for Stefanski? Who willing to risk it all for Stefanski? It said the sabotage has not only occurred, but it's still ongoing. It says Shedeur deserves justice along with the Sanders family and fans. I totally agree with that. It said hold Stefanski extremely accountable. He is not above human element at all. I totally agree with that. Yet nobody can seem to stop him. Pride always comes before the fall. There you go. That's it right there. It said number 12 got to start saying no comment when they ask these questions. Okay. He going to be retaliated against anyway, so you might as well find a way to answer the question without answering it. It said, if you don't want me, you are doing a damn good job. What happened? I'm not exactly sure. It said, thanks for the update for the Browns fans. Yeah. It said, 4.3 million people watched Stefanski snatch 2 touchdowns from Shedeur in the red zone. So the same 4.3 million people watched Stefanski snatch 2 touchdowns from Shedeur in the red zone, and they watched Jerry Jeudy slow down. That's documented. All in the first half. And then the game got slow and penalties became frequent. He was supposed to lead the game with 0 touchdowns, just like he was supposed to be undrafted. But it, again, just like the draft, it didn't work out the way they planned. The game didn't work out the way they planned. So what they planning next? About 10 million people need to watch it and look for it. Be ready to call them out for it. Because nobody associated in that orbit will do the right thing by Shedeur and hold Stefanski accountable and fire him because he's not a good coach. So it's up to the public. Why does the media keep asking Shedeur the same damn questions? Trying to harass him. That's all it is. Shedeur is popular like our President Obama. Yep, he is. He is. Based on what Shedeur Sanders said about feeling the game, I think Shedeur Sanders is a kinesthetic learner. He needs the reps to learn the playbook. It said that is why he had a receiver from JSU with him. He needs to move to learn. I can believe that. I'd be trolling the press back. I'd be like, that's something you'll have to ask coach. Next question. Right. He has very limited room to improvise. I'll just say it like that. Stefanski is also determining the outcome of the games by not playing the best players and not playing to win. Once again, you're selling your fans a lie when you say the game is competitive, when you know you have rigged the game so that Shedeur doesn't get credit for being QB1 or impactful in the win. No matter how many records Shedeur set, how many accolades he racked up that night, Kevin Stefanski went right into that locker room. Just like he snatched them touchdowns away in the red zone, which was gross, and acted like Shedeur was irrelevant. We don't need you. We don't value you. We don't want you. Undermined his leadership, knowing the quarterback position is the most important position on the team because they done told us times. Undermined his leadership in front of his peers, tried to humiliate him again in front of his peers. And I do believe on a video well off media, somebody, a black guy, came out the locker room and said to Shedeur, coach wants you to come in. So you disrupted him from talking to his father, trying to control what Shedeur does. So you could humiliate him in front of his peers? So you could deny him acknowledgement? So you could embarrass him? So you could humiliate him? Are you serious right now? Now you tell me this man is not wicked. He know he out there talking to his father, so you're going to send a black guy to come get him. So you could humiliate him and act like he didn't do nothing. Stefanski just wants to control a black body. And the one he has been assigned is Shedeur. And this is why people way beyond football are leaning in. See, I told y'all, the public is leaning in. Who heard me say it? See, I said it before the game. I said the public is leaning in, and now they see it, and they want to blame him when they should be holding Stefanski accountable. I said it before the game multiple times. The public is leaning in. So heads up to whoever. They not all Shedeur Sanders fans. Some of them not even football fans. Just ignorant. It said God don't like ugly. Yep, Stefanski number 3. Yep, they're going to catch it. And that's who they need to be talking to. They need to be investigating both of them to see if they work together. If Jerry Jeudy was bribed by Stefanski to rob Shedeur of a passing touchdown, so I'm going to need you to slow down. We need to see if he's going to get guarantees next year. He need to get some guarantees. What did he get? What did he get to slow down? And then he want to go over there and hug Shedeur. That's disgusting. That's two-faced. They practically, like I said, treat him like a goddamn sea lion. In his face. Smiling while they stab him in his back. And in some cases, in his goddamn front. and come put their arm around him and touch on him to try to get him to let their guard down so they could do it all over again like he a goddamn sea lion and Jerry Judy and Stefanski or Orcus. That is the perfect analogy because it's gross, and that's what they're doing. Manipulating him so they can abuse him over and over and over. And the media is harassing him because the public is leaning in. Shedeur's success highlights Stefanski's failures as a coach, picking Dillon ahead of Shedeur in the draft. Stefanski, yeah, and that made no sense. Absolutely no sense. Going to the Madden Passing Academy will not make you a good quarterback if you are not a good quarterback. But that's how he. Thank you, Clara. Welcome back. It says Stefanski, the heat is on. Oh, believe me, it's hot. He gonna think he in hell. It said, yes, we will have to be more cutthroat with the media and less smiles. Right. Removing Shedeur off the field and the Wildcat affects his GBR. Yep, his QBR. And that's what they were talking about, why his QBR was so low. And they actually gave Geno Smith a higher passer rating than Shedeur. Them kids in Africa stayed up till 1 a.m. in the morning to watch Shedeur. Sure did. And they mad, talking about Shedeur Sanders fans, supporters. Trump is a supporter. I don't hear you saying nothing to him. Let me see you do it. Now they mad because they got caught. I mean, you was trying to do it in public so we could all see it, and you mad because people called it out. What world do you live in that you think people would let you abuse this kid when you knew he came into the league with over 3 million fans? Why you think he had the highest NIL valuation? Why you think he had a damn Nike deal? They don't just hand them out like water. Number one quarterback coming out of college. Y'all been working real hard for a long time to take this kid down, and you ain't learned your damn lesson yet. He keep escaping your little traps. He survived the abuse of the summer, and now you want to keep asking him about it. Y'all better leave Shedeur Sanders the hell alone and let him play football as the QB1 he is. And if Cleveland want to get somebody else, cool. Trade him to a team that need a QB1 and no less than a QB1. Stefanski knows he's fired. His draft pick didn't get it done. Right. So he want to take it out on Shedeur. Removing him off the field affected his QBR. That's why it was low. Right. And that's exactly why Rex Ryan was waiting to pounce, because he knew what the plan was going to be. His talking points were to say Shedeur was a major contributor, right? So, well, we don't have to trade him as a QB1 because he didn't really do much. That's why they came quickly with they didn't play nobody. He didn't really do nothing. He don't really get no credit for that. People saw what they did in the red zone twice. You know how disgusting this was to let this kid ball out and get 52 yards that you probably didn't want him to get in the first place. And at the first and goal, you take him out the game. What, you want to be mad at Quishon Junkins? He ain't going to do that. Because that ain't on Quishon Junkins. All you're doing is pitting black players against each other. Trying to cause some kind of strife so he doesn't have chemistry with the team because you pissed off that they don't bond with Dillon like that. They not dumb. They want to win. They want to win. And you only gave Myles Garrett the game ball to hurt Shedeur and to try to control Myles Garrett so he don't say nothing else about Shedeur because you saw how excited he was on the sideline. People can't stop talking about it. They don't want Myles Garrett to be excited about Shedeur. You ain't going to tell Myles Garrett what to do. He's a human being. Your little slave fantasies need to be buried. And if this many people know about this, y'all gonna pay for this. By any means necessary, the movement will continue to move. Right. They were making fun of Kendrick Perkins because he said Shedeur is powerful. Now they see. See, I knew what he was trying to say. I knew he was saying Shedeur has the ability to galvanize people and bring them together. And he does. White, black, Hispanic, don't matter. In this case, it's wrong versus right. So Kendrick Perkins is right about that. He has the ability, when he says he's powerful, like Obama, to galvanize people and bring them together to support a cause. Right versus wrong. I told you last week before the game, the public is leaning in. What you gonna do? And you did it anyway. You decided to sabotage them. There were so many ways to make this right. And even with them now knowing everybody's leaning in and they want to blame Shedeur, let's see if they sabotage this kid in any way, shape, or form, whether he gets ill, whether he gets injured, or if they find another member of the team to bribe, coerce, intimidate, however you want to say it, retaliate into what? Making sure Shedeur don't have passing touchdowns. I'm going to read something to y'all from attorney Ben Crump. When I say this is far beyond football, this is what I mean. Attorney Crump, Shedeur Sanders worked for his moment. It says he's earned his respect. He did. It was given to everybody else. Shedeur was the only person that had to earn anything. It still never got the reward or recognition or opportunity. It said, yet the louder he rises, the louder the criticism grows. That's how this country treats young Black excellence. This is far beyond football. It said, we celebrate in theory. We celebrate it in theory and punish it in real life. So we celebrate young Black excellence in theory only, but we punish it in real life. Shedeur is being punished. How many times y'all hear them say, oh, they just wanted to teach Shedeur a lesson in the draft? Oh, they did, huh? No, they didn't. They were actively discriminating against him, so he wasn't the 17th Black quarterback selected number 2 overall or in the first round, which makes him an inherent QB1, because then Black quarterbacks would be the majority of the starters, even though they are the minorities of all quarterbacks, which proves that their lies about Black quarterbacks not being able to learn, not being able to process is bullshit. And they'd rather live a lie than allow the truth to flourish. Same thing with Shedeur in Cleveland. This is far beyond football. Both times in the red zone, Shedeur should have at least ran a play or first down both times. They could have ran the Wildcat play on the second and third down if necessary. Yep, they could have. But they chose to rob Shedeur at first and goal. It said number 3 is a bald-faced liar. Right. And somebody going to tell him about himself. Just watch what I tell you. It said this is probably why Judy was short during the interview. Stefanski probably told him to mess up a couple of catches before that last interview. It should definitely be looked into, because it is not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence that 18 points were taken from Shedeur in the first half, because imagine if Shedeur would have had 3 touchdowns before the half. If you think people talking about this game right now, imagine if Shedeur would have had 3 touchdowns credited to his name. What would have happened? And that's what they don't want to happen. Whatever your answer is, that's what they don't want to happen. It was going to be good for Shedeur. Now, remember, what happens to Shedeur is for God's glory. So what did they really rob? What God had for Shedeur. They're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that. It said, I can tell by Shedeur's body language. Yeah, you can tell by his body language. And they trying to force him into saying, they just harassing him. That's all they doing. Harassing him. That's it. Those kind of questions are harassment, because they don't ask Dylan about Shedeur. They don't ask Stefanski about Shedeur. They know Stefanski can't stand Shedeur, and they know why. Because they know he has an agenda. They know what he did to Deshaun Watson. They know what he did to Jameis Winston. Shedeur is just the one with 10 million fans. Or, excuse me, Shedeur is just the one with about 10 million people watching far beyond football. Let's say it that way. When I said the public was leaning in, they didn't listen. Now they mad. And they want to blame him. The punt inside the 30-yard line was the last straw for me. Right. because they didn't want him to have a good game. They didn't want it to be, he won by 24-10. They did not expect that. People are saying that Jerry Jeudy was questioned about Shedeur, and I don't know what happened or what Jeudy said. I think he was asked about chemistry with Shedeur, and he just, whatever. The whole internet is coming for Stefanski. Just sit back and watch. Right. And see, we already know. We done watched somebody else try to go to war with the internet. That shit did not work. At all. At all. It said the CAA and that agent connection is real. They're trying to diminish it, but it affects a lot of players. Okay. It says some of these stepping fetches will do anything to hurt their own. Yeah, Jerry Jeudy, no, there's no excuse for slowing down. None. There's absolutely no excuse at all. Right? And that wasn't the first thing he did. You can go watch the game again, or you can join us on Friday at 6 o'clock if you remember. I thought Stefanski gave up play calling. Right. But the game plan was his. And he actually looked like he was calling plays. And it seems like he intentionally tried to undermine Tommy Rees. See, what Haslam need to do is before sunup, he need to fire Stefanski and make Tommy Rees the head coach and watch Shedeur and the Cleveland Browns elevate. Watch Nightcap tomorrow. Kareem Hunt is supposed to be on there discussing what it's like to play for Kevin. Okay. What is the guy's name that was in the clip with Johnny Manziel that we watched? Was that Kareem Hunt? Remember the guy that said his coach wouldn't talk to him? Y'all remember when we watched that? I don't know who that was, but he played for the Browns. Y'all know what Odell Beckham Jr. told us about why they sent him to the Browns, so his career could die. Deshaun Watson paid $230 million, and his career has been sent to die. Shedeur Sanders was supposed to be undrafted. You saw how unhappy they were. Career sent to die. Jameis Winston was demoted after he left Cleveland and over here balling out for the Giants, which they never wanted. Funny how the Giants tried to avoid Shedeur in the first round, a black franchise QB, and ended up with 2 black QBs. See how that worked? It's time Shedeur receives justice in court. It said the Players Association has been totally absent, negligent, and we are way past apologies. Facts. I totally agree with that. It said the institutionalized racism is horrible, and that's what's being exposed, right? Let's talk about institutionalized racism in the NFL, right? Here's the thing. Most people don't know about it because what did I say? People don't look at the league holistically. They look at team by team by team. They see what's happening to Michael Penix Jr., but they're not connecting it to what's happening with Spencer Rattler or Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, who's been sacked how many times? Has he passed 40 sacks yet? And they asked when the pre-draft, how many times was Shedeur going to be sacked because of how many times Caleb Williams was sacked. They paid Caleb Williams backup, who's D3, $10 million. You think they will pay Shedeur $10 million as a QB2? You think they will pay any black quarterback $10 million as a QB2? You see? The institutionalized racism is what's being exposed. We saw in the draft how ugly and discriminatory it was against one of the best players coming out in the draft, how hard they worked as a consortium to assassinate his character, to humiliate him, to devalue him. All of that was together. Even though it's already documented how badly the NFL discriminates against black quarterbacks in the draft, and they still add it. So who's it going to be this year? Lenore Sellis, which is why I say his daddy should took that money. Dante Moore, you might won't hang back for a year, boo. Brian Flores' lawsuit alleges that the NFL is rife with racism. These people know that this case is out here. But at the draft time, they didn't think it was going to move to the courts. Well, guess what? It got denied to move through the courts. We see Trump is a supporter of Shedeur. Says Shedeur should have been drafted and was. They want to keep that part quiet. Then here come Trump again, and Shedeur becomes QB1. So you know somebody somewhere plotting because they not be able to get their way on controlling Shedeur's black body, denying black excellence. Because they're not in danger of 17 black quarterbacks at this moment due to injuries. Due to injuries. Not much left for Kevin Stefanski to use as a tactic because we also know he already weaponized the game plan. So if you do it again this time, we will instantly recognize it. We already see he had help from a receiver to do the result between Jerry Jeudy's actions and Stefanski's actions were the same. Denying Shedeur Sanders contributions by taking points away from him. That's the overall result of Jerry Jeudy's actions and Kevin Stefanski's action. It's not like anybody else threw that touchdown to Jerry Jeudy. He slowed down. Stefanski was grossly obvious with taking Shedeur out the red zone. Remember, he took Shedeur out the red zone and put Huntley in, and Huntley was traded the next day. So there was no point to rob Shedeur of the experience or of the opportunity because Shedeur wasn't going anywhere, but they knew that Huntley was. You see how ugly Stefanski is towards Shedeur, how he mistreats him, how he tries to stick it to him good. And they want to protect that. You're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that. People have said Shedeur's steps are clearly ordered by the Lord because he's being protected. You know the prayer footprints where you only see you don't see your footprints because God is holding you? That's Shedeur. So all Shedeur got to do is go get some canned responses and come on out here with them. You damned if you do, you damned if you don't. Play your best game. If the door closes unexpectedly, it's going to hurt, but you're going to have to know that God is protecting you from harm. Because what these people have shown you is they will stop at nothing to tear you down physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Trust no one. Jeudy was very intentional in that play. He held that ball out to be knocked out of his hands. Yep, he slowed down so they can catch up with him. That's why Shedeur keep asking for the Hunger Dogs to be in the game with him. They go all out, and Shedeur knows that he can trust them. Fact, and guess what? Shedeur is not the only one. And this is why I say, when you look at kind of what's happening, Stefanski is being put on an island, but he should be fired. So if they know they kind of vetoing everything he does in terms of who's getting on the field, why would you leave him around to do more damage? Because Brian Flores' lawsuit said NFL is rife with racism. We saw it in the draft. It's well documented before Shedeur. People are seeing again what happened to Lamar. People are seeing Shedeur being blackballed like they did Colin Kaepernick. But you still want to persist. And you prove Brian Flores' lawsuit is valid every single day. And yet you persist. Scared of nothing. But whenever the president comes through, Shedeur gets elevated beyond what you plan. I don't know what it's going to take for Haslam to fire Kevin Stefanski. Because you're leaving him to do more damage. You're going to pay for that. And now we need to see what damage he's planning on next in the 49ers game. That's facts. And a reminder, this is way beyond football. This is about what happens to Black excellence, young Black men, young Black excellence, and Black people in white spaces. They treat us like we don't belong. And they go through extremes to prove their points, including physical harm. NFL knows that with Shedeur and his father popularity is more of a push for guaranteed contracts. NFL has been trying to stop giving guaranteed contracts for years. That's why they keep devaluing players. I don't think it got nothing to do with guaranteed contracts. I think it has everything to do with race, just like CTE. Majority of the positions that Black people play get CTE, which is why Black people get steered to those positions. It said, this is what they do, deflect and lie. Right, that's all that's happening. And then when you get caught, you mad. You mad at the person that you have targeted, that you got caught for being discriminatory and racist, that you chose to be bold with it. You wanted all of us to know, we calling you out, we holding you accountable, but you want to harass Shedeur. And you want to ask him in front of his abuser, did he hurt you? Why you don't ask his abuser? Why you don't look at the evidence that's out there and fire Kevin Stefanski expeditiously before he does any further damage? Now, I already told you, the public is leaning in, and I'm telling you, before he does any further damage. You want to learn the hard way? All right. It said they gave Dylan Gabriel the QB1, and now the Browns don't want to see him take the field again. What you talking about? When Dylan Gabriel was out there, justice, not just us. Yep. Yeah. People upset with Jerry Jeudy. I know they're more upset with Stefanski, but a lot of people, they see what happened. You're going very, very few people you will find making excuses for Jerry Jeudy. People are saying the FBI need to look into that, thinking he point shaving. I'm like, don't make it complicated. Don't make it complicated. Look at the overall result of Judy's actions and Stefanski's actions in the first half, taking Shedeur out the red zone and Jeudy slowing down. What was the overall result? Shedeur was robbed of points, which would make him impactful player. We already know he QB1. But see, now he got to go out here and put his body on the line with Stefanski at the helm again and try to escape Stefanski again to play the 49ers. And if they beat the 49ers, they just going to say, oh, they not good. Every single time. Cam Newton. And he ought to know. Because he was a dog. And look at how they treated him. Cut him like he was nothing. Like it's easy to get to the Super Bowl. But all they got for Josh Allen is excuses and gave him Lamar Jackson's third MVP because Lamar Jackson was going to have 3 MVPs before Tom Brady. Tom Brady took how many seasons? 11 to get 3? Lamar Jackson did it in 6, 7. Lamar Jackson has elevated the game with his skill set. Shedeur Sanders is currently elevating the game with his skill set. They have different skill sets. So when they played each other, it should have been all we talked about. But they both got sabotage. That was my first time ever seeing the opposing team protect the opponent's quarterback. But then when the second quarterback got in, they tried to knock his block off. It was obvious they were trying to take Shedeur out, make him look bad, and make Dylan look good. I wonder whose idea it was for the Ravens to help Dylan. I mean, what does that conversation sound like? Because again, they didn't put their physical brains together and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. No, these are conversations. They don't hate Shedeur. They don't know Shedeur. Taking Shedeur out the game after he drives them down to the 1-yard line and do a wildcat, lowers his QBR, and no credit to the quarterback. That's why Kevin did it. Right. And do you hear the media asking Kevin about that? Do you hear the media asking Kevin, why would you take Shedeur out the game in the red zone when he got them to 1st and goal? Why would you deny him that experience as a rookie? Why would you mistreat him when your team was on a 3-game losing streak and he stopped that? Talk about ungrateful. After they told him winning is the goal. So he mad that Shedeur was the one that brought victory. But he knew Dylan couldn't get it done. But he didn't care. It seems like he's obsessed, has an unhealthy obsession with Dylan. And it's going to cost Shedeur something. And it shouldn't be like that. And he shouldn't be allowed to get away with that. And why are people covering for Stefanski and choosing to harass Shedeur, who's the target? I heard that Miles and Sampson are both players of the week after Shedeur took over as QB1 and they won the game week 12. Oh, okay, I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that. Yeah, they're not gonna give Shedeur anything. It says Shedeur is the movement that they cannot stop. Right. And they ought to see that now. They ought to see that. A hostile work environment is employment discrimination, and Ben Crump knows that. Right. What did I say? And that ain't his first, that's not his first post. I said Ben Crump show is talking about this situation. That's interesting. More than one time. And he chimed in before. And that's still not enough for them to sit down somewhere. Straighten up, fly right, fire Stefanski, anything. They know what they need to do, but they're willing to risk it all. So let's see what kind of sabotage and food they come up with to prevent Shedeur from balling out as QB1 and winning the game. Are they going to enlist the other team again, like they did the Ravens, to try to knock Shedeur block off, like they let the Ravens and the Raiders do? All the big channels, Shedeur can pick these teams apart. Okay. Since they left Stefanski in there, they risking it all. It said Shedeur will show up and show off. Yep, and show out. Right. And it's a shame that he has to defeat his own head coach and possibly some of his teammates that are on the take, which is cheating the fans. And then he got to go out here and play the opponent, making his life hell, making things super tough for him so he is not successful. Even after they know the public is leaning in. Stefanski should be fired before the sun come up. I already said it was negligence a couple of days ago from here on out. They try to give Jackson Dart a fast start on Shedeur, and he only won 2 games. Right. So Shedeur got to be held back because Dart didn't live up to whatever they wanted it to, which is why they drafted Dart in front of Shedeur. And understand this. They do not want to admit that Shedeur is better than Dart because everything from the draft is haunting them. Everything. They don't want to talk about why he was taken off the board. I mean, they could just say Daboll lied on Shedeur and they fired him and shut the hell up and move on. But no, they got to destroy this kid. He better be careful. Somebody already broken into his house. And the way he being treated, you might want to kind of start connecting the dots. Hire you a private detective so you can get to the truth, because the truth might come out real slow motion. Because the people that robbed Shedeur's house spent more time covering their identity and whoever it is that they were working for than they took away from that house. Because Shedeur got a lot of stuff. $200,000 is a drop in a bucket for a millionaire, multi-millionaire. If you pay attention to the play schemes, Kevin is still sabotaging Shedeur through the BS route tree and the blocking schemes. I only saw one film breakdown channel call it out. He said it's malpractice. Right. And people have called this out before, even with the Ravens game. But they let Stefanski come on out and sabotage Shedeur and enlist the help of a different person this time. So let's see what he do the next time. Who's he going to enlist? Is it going to be the opposing team like it was the Ravens? Is it going to be different receivers? Or is it going to be the O-line, but the left side instead of the right? Because you got to switch it up because we on to you. This is way beyond football. People are pointed out when Shedeur saw the blitz coming, they didn't expect him to get out of it. The crazy part is the Raiders used the exact same blitz as the Ravens, and Shedeur got the hell out of there. So that should tell you that the opposing teams could be using the same thing again. harassed by the media rather than the media holding Stefanski accountable and actually doing some journalism. They choose to be co-conspirators. Shedeur mania is taken over by the second. I wouldn't call it Shedeur mania. I would call it accountability. I would call it accountability because that's what it is. People been saying it's malpractice. People saw what happened with the Ravens game. Then people see it is allowed to happen again. So, I mean, if you smart, you're going to look for it the next time. Because instead of holding Stefanski accountable, they chose to harass Shedeur. And then Haslam chose to leave Stefanski in place, even though he's risking it all in ownership of this team. Whether he believes it or not. There's always the moment that you realize you messed up. He just ain't got there yet. It said the thing is, the Sanders media team is documenting everything with Bucky at the helm. Yep, they all fall down. That's facts. It said if Shedeur runs the score up at the 49ers, watch Stefanski take Shedeur out in the middle of the fourth quarter and put Dillon in the game. Don't be surprised. Mary Cabot already whispered to you. Some people still need to see more from Dillon. There's a plan. It said they keep saying Shedeur is drifting in the pocket. He's drifting because the block schemes are trash and his O-line is letting guys in. It's like they want Shedeur to stand still and get this. Right. That's exactly what they want him to do. The Arch Manning kid thing is funny because I saw a video of Peyton's son watching Art like, I can piece my cousin up. Oh, yeah. And I told y'all the other day, a podcast channel was talking about how well the Manning kid did. I saw it today. Oh, the Manning kid should probably still come on out. I knew the moment it looked like he was trending upward, they were going to go back to it. And again, I don't care if Cleveland want to get the Manning kid, but you're not going to destroy Shedeur so you can get the Manning kid. You're not going to hold Shedeur back from greatness so you can lower the bar so the Manning kid can get there. That's all that's happening. A black person being sacrificed for a white person. That's it. Jim Crow. We don't want you. We don't value you. It said the public court is talking loud and making sure justice is served. Right. And that's what it is. It's accountability. Yep. A young man, young black young man. That's facts. It said orcas are the wolves of the ocean. Right. And that's what Stefanski is. A wolf. Pretending to be something else. Especially right now. At first, he was just letting it all hang out. So, yep, that's facts. Get Stefanski out of here. The play calling is trash. Right. Fans want to win. It's crazy that they're willing to destroy Shedeur, deny their fans of the opportunity to win. Aren't you in the business of playing football, competitive football, where you win or lose, try to get to the Super Bowl is the goal? Everything but is happening in Cleveland. Everything. And they risking it all to try to hurt this kid. And they've been trying to hurt him, have not been successful, yet they refuse to stop. That is the very definition of obsessed, fixated, or as I say, stuck on stupid, which means you will perish trying to take this kid down because you can't stop. So be it. So be it. Let me see. I saved some things. Let's see what I can show you. Let's see. I saved some things earlier. Let me see if I have any one thing that was good. I will go put together my interview and share that tomorrow. I will show you Jerry Judy, but I don't want to hear what Jerry Judy got to say because it's a lie. They asking Shedeur, like I said, they basically just harassing Shedeur for the most part. And they know Stefanski's the problem because they won't even ask him. The fact that they won't ask him anything, the fact that they won't ask Dillon anything, they just harassing Shedeur. They don't even like Shedeur like that. They didn't like him in the beginning. One guy asked Shedeur, "Why do people like you?" What the hell is that to ask somebody? They want to treat this kid like he's nothing. To whom it may concern, Shedeur Sanders fans are not the only people who have witnessed Stefanski sabotaging Shedeur Sanders' career for months. Understand that. So, okay, let's play what this guy said. This is a guy who is 49ers defensive coordinator and former Jets head coach, Sally high praise for Shedeur Sanders. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to what praise for Shedeur sounds like, since we don't ever hear it from Stefanski. Only until somebody start pulling his coattails, and yet he's still at it. Pulling his coattails was to make it not be so obvious, which is why he all in Shedeur's face. I hope Shedeur don't fall for that. God said, forgive, not trust. Never said trust. After you've been stabbed in the back by somebody, never said trust. And if you have to be around them, never trust them. Okay, let's see what he has to say. Let me make sure y'all can see the screen. Let me switch. All right, here we go. All right, this is...
he's a good young quarterback. He's mobile. He's got big arm, tremendous confidence, and he made a couple of really, really good throws in the game. Vegas, extending plays, getting out of the pocket, delivering the ball where it needed to be delivered. Obviously, showed good command of the huddle and at the line of scrimmage. You anticipate someone like him who's got that confidence, who has that skill set. He's just going to get better and better every week.
Now, it's interesting how, just like Canales for the 49ers, another coach can offer feedback for Shedeur Sanders. They can all detail events from games, from watching him play. Kevin Stefanski has none of this. None of it. Oh, for a rookie, there's a lot to improve. He said the same thing every time. And this man got coach of the year. You had to know it was rigged. To try to lend him credibility because he has none. To force him in the position he's in. To destroy Winston. To destroy Dorian Thompson-Robinson. To destroy P.J. Walker's career. To destroy Deshaun Watson. To destroy Shedeur. As you can see, everybody else has feedback for this young man, but his own coach, which means Kevin Stefanski has not created a supportive environment for Shedeur, which means he's guilty of malpractice. Again, this is way beyond Shedeur Sanders' fan base. Kevin Stefanski is a legal liability. The public is leaning in because what is happening is so gross and allowed to fester that people waiting to see it blow up. Shocked that nobody has come to stop Kevin Stefanski or fire him when he's already a losing coach. So the NFL is being exposed and validated as exactly what Brian Flores said. The NFL is rife with racism, and he even listed black quarterbacks being discriminated against. What is Shedeur? A black quarterback. What did we see in the draft? Discrimination. What are we seeing in Cleveland? Discrimination. Racism. Devaluing. Negligence. Fraud. Bait and switch. I don't know how many times I got to say it. Racketeering. And now you have to ask, was Jerry Judy bribed? Because they seem really desperate and willing to break all kind of laws and do whatever they have to do by any means necessary to destroy Shedeur Sanders and make sure he's not a QB1 by the time we get to the end of the season, which is why Stefanski is still in place. So let's see what he come up with next. I just pray Shedeur is kept safe because physical harm is not off the table. Mysteriously fallen ill, not off the table. Car accident, not off the table. Nothing is off the table. This young man's house has already been robbed. Inside job. Not many people knew where he lived, but your employer always know where you live at because they got to pay you. HR. So you heard that, man. You heard what he said, right? Now, this is a player. This is a player on defense. Listen to what he's saying. This guy has been forthcoming the entire time. I don't know why they keep trying to control Myles Garrett and his positivity when a lot of people, even the lineman Batonio, is being positive. And Shedeur better keep his head on the swivel.
Yeah, I think that dude, man, Shedeur got like, a crazy fan base. He got the spark, the stardom, and all that, and he's popping it right now. So I just tell him keep popping it, man. Keep doing what he's doing, and we got you on defense. So we're gonna get you that ball back, and keep riding that energy, man, because we need it. Yeah, I think that dude, man. Shedeur
so hearing a black man say he got that crazy fan base, I don't think he means crazy as insane. I think he means it's a lot of people. But they need to understand something. This is well beyond Shedeur Sanders' fan base, and they don't want to admit that. They don't want to admit that. And they don't like the fact that players are coming out and being positive about Shedeur, which is why they keep trying to pit him, giving Myles Garrett the game ball and acting like he didn't do nothing. So they think Shedeur petty. He's just going to be like, well, I don't need that, right? Just like what happened with the Heisman. They tried to pitch Shedeur against Travis. He was like, give it to Travis. Same thing. Give it to Myles Garrett. Give it to Quinshon Judkins. I just want to play the game. I don't care about the accolades. And he shouldn't. Because what did I say? When Lamar Jackson come back and players like Shedeur Sanders and these black quarterbacks, if they're going to play in this league, they have to go out here and want for nothing. Don't even try to get to Super Bowl. Just go play football, have fun with your friends, and enjoy the road trips. And live your life. Because they've been trying to rob Lamar Jackson of the Super Bowl how many times? Using 2 different players. So it's not a new tactic. It just hops from team to team. When as a black quarterback, they want to take down. You got Lamar Jackson on one end, Tyrod Taylor, the extreme, lung punctured the other. And Shedeur is in the middle. So is he going to end up physically hurt? Like Tyrod Taylor, so he's not QB1? Because that's a tactic. They've used it before, right? And they didn't fire the doctor, so they were never concerned. Then over here, I'm just going to cheat you every single time, and I'm going to use your teammates to do it. And isn't that where we are? Isn't that the page we on? Chapter 3, cheaters. So if I can't stop you over here, I'm going to have to scoot you more over to the physical harm. Nothing's off the table. Nothing. They willing to expose themselves, so let's see what they do. It said Browns players never on their faces all year while Dylan was quarterback. But when Shedeur ended the game, it was a New Day celebration. Facts. Totally agree with that. It said, yes, you can see it. Everyone can see it and are watching out for now. They will get caught up in their own snare. Watch and see. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. People are starting to see that Shedeur is covered. They believe that God is protecting Shedeur, and they right. Right? Because look at how many times they've tried to get him and were unsuccessful. So there you go. That's just the truth. How many people in here? Hit the like button for me, please. 250. Let me see if I saved anything else before we get out of here. Let's see. That way we could see if I saved anything else of importance. Oh, here we go. Here's the lineman.
He's been in the limelight his whole life, and
to listen to this. Okay. Again, trust no one. All right, here we go. Make sure y'all can see it. Okay, y'all can see it. I can't see the play button. Hold on one second. Okay. All right, this is Joe Batonio. This is the Browns left guard. This is on Shedeur's blind side. The second person on the line, Jordan Seaton at CU, will be to the left. So all the way extreme left. And this guy will be next to Jordan Seaton, where Tyler Brown used to play. All right. So check this out.
Obviously, his dad is, one of the best players ever, and he's been in the limelight his whole life. And I think people have been curious since he was in high school what he's going to do at college, where he went to school, all those things. So it's an experience that people want to be a part of. And then I think his personality, he has that a little bit of excitement that comes with it. And, I think the plays he made, you win a football game, like we've been finding to win on the road, like all those things add up. And we just want to continue to grow around him and help him, as much as we can. Yeah, I think those big plays we saw, I think we had 3 pretty explosive pass plays, which we haven't had in a few weeks, were huge for us. Obviously, one got us way down there. One scored a touchdown, and one obviously fumbled, but it was still a big play. Like you saw the shot play potential. And anytime like as an offense you're kind of struggling, 40, 50-yard plays are going to help the offense out. And I definitely think that was something we've been missing. So it was a big part of it, and I think it led to a couple scores for us.
No, for sure give us momentum. That was like third down. It was third down, so we needed that. It was like 52, we needed that. So we got it. It gave us momentum. We got down there. We scored a touchdown. Now it was up, 7-zip? So, hey, we need that.
Yeah, I think that dude, man, Shedeur got
So there we go, right? Jerry Jeudy snuck in there anyway. So that wasn't my intent. So there you go. Yep, Shedeur Sanders grown is resilient, right? That is fact. That is facts. That is facts. But he shouldn't have to endure this type of destruction to his person, to his psyche. He shouldn't have to deal with that, right? It says Shedeur will do the damn thing. We believe he gonna outdo anything they come up with, and I'm sure they expected him to escape the traps, which is why I'm telling you, look for the extreme side to come through, right? Let's see what they do. It said that is number 77. It said that left hole open for Shedeur to get sacked along with 55. That was number 75. When you're talking about 77, the one that picked him up in the Raiders game, right? No, that's 75. That's the leader of the O-line, Batonio. You're talking about Tellers is 77, and 55 is Posick, Ethan Posick or something like that. And then they have the other guy, Conklin. Again, trust no one, right? Because they're willing to try any and everything. So you got to keep your head on the swivel and everything else. And actually, the good that will come of this kid will be ready for anything. That's exactly what happened at Colorado, right? Which is why he drifts out the pocket. And they know, this is the football world. They know that the best QBs drift out the pocket so they don't get sacked. They want him to stay there and get sacked so they can devalue him. That's all they want to do. That's all. And they just want him to stay in there and let his career be ruined so they could be satisfied and talk about it incessantly. That's it. Yeah, Batonio is 75. Yep, that's it. All right, on that note, we're going to get out of here, y'all. So I hope y'all see the play, right? It's a lot that should be happening. Stefanski should have been fired already. Jerry Jeudy should not be allowed to play. He should have been taken out the game. It is not a coincidence at all that in one half, Shedeur Sanders could have credit for 18 points. And when he gets to the red zone twice, Kevin Stefanski takes him out. And when Jerry Jeudy could run and score and Shedeur gets a passing touchdown, the points are shaved off the board. So, and erased. That's not a coincidence. And all Stefanski basically said was something about his mechanics with the fumble. But there are several outlets that have noticed he slowed down first. And that's not all he did. All right, so we will be back tomorrow. I'll probably have my video edited by then. I'll tell you this. The person I ended up interviewing from Cleveland, turns out, guess where he's spending Thanksgiving dinner? And he don't play football. Y'all could probably figure that out. Big Boy, who's doing the concert in Cleveland. What a small world, right? So he'll be spending Thanksgiving with Big Boy and company tomorrow, and that's why they apparently are in town. and we're having some kind of dinner today when I just ran right into them in my own space. So small world. So I'll put that together, and I might break it into 2 parts, and then we'll just talk about it, and we'll probably talk about the other part maybe when we do the live stream for the game. We'll talk about it then after halftime. All right, I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. 250 people. Please hit the like button. We can continue the conversation in the chat. Thank y'all for the engagement. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for being customers of What She Said Sports. And thank you for all of the compliments. Somebody paid me the best compliment. They called me a general. They told me, we got a new general in town. And it's a woman. What She Said Sports. And she holding it down. So thank y'all for the compliments. I appreciate it. And yes, I have a Patreon just in case. And I have some time to add some more content over there. Right. So I'll see the members on Friday, 6 o'clock. I'll schedule it tomorrow. And I'll see everybody else tomorrow. Turn your notifications on and we'll do a midday huddle. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Good night, everybody. Have a good night. Hit the like button on the way out if you haven't already. Thank you.